There's Sagittarius. I hope you guys are doing well. I want to go ahead and get into your reading for the last bit of November 2019. You already got a card coming out. There you are, Sag. King of Wands energy, leadership roles, movement forward, positivity, communication. There's a lot for that card, but let's go ahead and get into the cards before we get into the reading. Hangman. So you have fire energy, Pisces energy. Show me more for Sagittarius. Falling on the floor. The Lovers in reverse. Emperor. Ace of Wands. The World. And the Five of Swords. At the bottom of the deck, you have Judgment. So let's start with the bottom of the deck then, with Judgment, okay? This energy is basically where we are choosing to change things, choosing to look at situations for what they are versus what we want them to be. It's being real with our situation. It's being real with the people present. It can be a card of reconciliation. It can be a card of turning somebody away and no longer wanting to deal with them. You know, it's an evaluation card. It's a self-accountability card. You know, there's, you know, it's a card of harsh judgments, overly judging somebody not enough, you know, like there's a lot to go with that. But what I'm feeling here, you know, Sagittarius, is it feels like in the past there's been something that kind of kept you waiting. I don't know if there was some sort of connection with somebody from the past that maybe caused you to have to hold off, or you weren't ready to get back in the saddle, even though you wanted to. Even though it was like trying to move forward, you were still holding yourself back in a way. And I think that that's helpful just because we get to reassess things. We get to understand our feelings in a different way versus going and trying to start up some sort of other relationship with somebody else where we have existing baggage, and it just kind of causes this snowball effect as far as like bringing your old shit into a new situation, which taints everything, as we all know. So, you know, it's kind of like holding yourself off, and you may be in that right now. You know, you may be in that situation right now where you're having to evaluate, you know, you're feeling better, you're feeling good, you're feeling ready to move forward, but there's this like hesitancy. There's this waiting period where it's like, okay, well, I feel ready. Am I ready? I think you are. For the Lovers here with the Emperor and the Ace of Wands, the Lovers here is essentially, it's releasing something. So the Lovers can talk about two people. It can talk about a lover in particular. It can talk about friendships, people that you feel very connected to. It can even talk about jobs that you know, are holding to a very high regard. Here, whatever this is, we've let it go. So what I'm picking up is like I keep feeling like you've been dealing with somebody where there's an energy where the ending of that kind of caused you to remain in this loop. And I feel like you're like, they talk about like dark night of the soul and like all of these soul crushing things. And dark night of the soul isn't, well, it's kind of soul crushing, but it's a learning experience. But I feel like you've kind of gone through these things, and it's this waiting period before you go out of the gate again. Like it's kind of figuring that out. And I think whatever you've dealt with in this past, you're dropping now because it's not going to serve, it serves you, but it's not going to serve you anymore in the direction that you're going. So you're having to let it go. We're going to pull clarifiers for everything. But with the King of Wands and the Emperor, this is all about power energy. It's about moving forward in your life, being diligent, being constant, being absolutely for yourself, and not in a selfish way, but like you make shit happen. You basically take the reins of your life and go. With the Ace of Wands, this is new beginnings, new creativity. It's feeling better about yourself. It's feeling sexually energized. I I started to do a reading for you, and I didn't get more than like 5 minutes into it, and I had to stop it because yeah, I think I called you a whore. I didn't mean to call you a whore, but it was basically talking about sexuality and how like entering into relationships for the essential need of sex, how that can be misconstrued and seen as a whore or a slut or a floozy. But it's not that. Like, if both parties are very clear about this is a sexual experience and this is how we're getting together and why we're getting together, this is a tryst, you know, it smooths it out more. You're not left with like these, well, do I like them? Do I like them more? Does he like me? Does she like me? Like, is there something more? It's very clear because you give yourself permission to speak about it. You give yourself permission to know exactly what you're stepping into. And I feel here like there's this kind of energy where, you know, whatever this thing from the past is, you can let that go. But now you have kind of like a different perspective in regard to, you know, do I want a relationship or do I want to kind of just have some sex? There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people think that, oh, I can't have sex unless I'm in a relationship or a marriage, and, you know, I'm a slut if I do it. And, you know, you don't have to be. Sex is a natural thing. It's a good thing. Stay protected in this day and age. You know, there are a lot of sluts and floozies, but if you have that communication from both people that this is what we're doing, it's a conscious decision, we're both clear on it, great, go for it. I think it's like that separation of like that worry and also kind of like releasing some of this baggage that you may have been dealing with this other person. I feel like a new lease on life, a new lease on self-expression, and also self-expression through sexuality, Sagittarius. Not everybody's going to resonate with this reading. Some of you are in long-term relationships where you're like, okay. But even within that situation, this may be a time to infuse sexuality. This may be in time to infuse curiosity within your experience on a carnal level. I'm getting a lot of sex. I'm like, it's good. And there's nothing wrong with it. You know, this is about change. It's about transformation. And I think with this Five of Swords here, we have the potential of self-sabotage in regard to how we go about it. So it's like getting it right, but not getting it right. I hope this is making sense to somebody because this message is quite unique. So show me the King of Wands here for Sagittarius, please. So you've got the Devil coming out. The Devil came out in your other reading of like 5 minutes. And that was interesting because as far as that other reading was concerned, the Devil was there, the Lovers were there, and the Five of Swords was there. So, yeah, the Devil with the King of Wands. I think if you communicate with your partners, if you find an understanding within yourself that what I'm doing is not like sexually depraved or, you know, completely self-serving, you have a better chance. It's like looking at your I guess, what are they called? Motives. Looking at your motives for why you want to do something. You know, and some of you, I'm getting this weird feeling like maybe wanting to cheat on a partner. I would say be careful about that just because it's not going to be healthy. I know that's not for everybody. That message isn't for everybody, but I just got that right there. Be careful about that because it doesn't bode well for you or your partner. Yeah, you know, I mean, here we go. It's like basically wanting to let go of this type of negative energy, what's not healthy for us anymore, move forward in our lives in a positive way. And with the Hangman, you're trying to figure out how to go about that, especially in relationship roles. Show me the Hangman here for Sagittarius. So you have the Five of Wands and the Ace of Wands. It's conflict about the direction in which you're going, but I wouldn't be too concerned about it right now because you're moving into positive space. You're moving into creative energy. You're moving into sexual energy. There's something here about like changing that dynamic, changing the way you view your sexuality, changing the way you view relationships, and not putting such a limited view on them. Show me the Lovers in reverse, please, for Sagittarius. So for the Lovers in reverse, you have the 8 of Wands here, and at the bottom of the deck, you have the 7 of Wands. So what I'm feeling here is that this is communication between you and a potential person, possibly a Gemini. It doesn't have to be, though. Could be a fire sign, whatever. But it's basically communication that the bets are off here in regard to whatever you've dealt with in the past. It's also moving forward from this situation into something that's far more suitable for you, that you can put your energy and effort into. Give me one more for the Lovers and the 8 of Wands. You have the 10 of Pentacles popping out in reverse. I'm going to talk about... Oh man, this is interesting. Oh my God, this so goes in alignment with the other reading that I was doing for you. And we're just going to continue on that note because it feels like that's where it's at. And it's not going to resonate for everybody. Yeah, this is basically what I'm feeling is shirking tradition, shirking regular ways of thinking and looking at things. I don't mean shirking them, but like finding new space for them, creating a new perception of them, you know, communicating now with people that, hey, I may be your lover, but it's not going to be forever. God, this is a fucking weird reading. At the bottom of the deck, you have the Knight of Wands. I feel this energy is basically, yeah, it can be seen as a player, but it's also somebody who's very interested in experiencing as much as they can. It's upright. It doesn't mean that it's negative. Sure, you could be seen as a player if you want, but I feel it's more about embracing newness, embracing experiences that you may have not had in the past. And I feel like this 10 of Pentacles here, I know it can be a loss of money or inheritance, you know, or letting go of somebody in your life. And it may be that you're letting go of somebody in your life that had been there for a long time. But what I'm feeling here is a decrease in tradition, a decrease in these societal roles that we kind of subscribe to just because that's what we know, you know, it's what people talk about. It's what people accept. And I think you're kind of moving into a position in your life at this point, Sag, where you know, all bets are off. Nobody can put baby in a corner. Like, don't pigeonhole me. Don't put me in a box. Like, it's that's the kind of thing, you know. And even if it's not like in a sexual aspect, there's something here, Sagittarius, where you're kind of like blowing the top off of your experience, and it's going to be really healthy for you and those that you are around, because it gives you a new breath of air. It gives you new perspective in how you experience life and yourself and your dreams and your passions and your horny, dirty, sexual experiences. They don't have to be horny and dirty and sexual. They can be totally fucking delectably delightful. So anyways, I'm going to stop throwing out words for you. Get me the Emperor, please. So you have the Page of Pentacles coming out for the Emperor. And the World at the bottom of the deck again. The World is here as well. I feel with the Emperor, these are things where you're not getting involved in situations that are going to be minimal. You know, only things that are going to be potentially, how do I say that? Let me rephrase that. I'm getting like a bunch of pictures here, and this is very confusing because it doesn't go along with the what I would typically read as this. And I'm like, why am I getting this? Okay. So basically what I'm feeling here is like the Emperor is willing to offer small amounts of himself. If you're coming up as the Emperor, Sagittarius, it's basically you kind of taking the reins of your life and not, that's gonna be weird for people, but not committing to, it's like a decrease in commitment. It's not wanting to give your all in something because you want to experience it, you want to taste it, and you want to go on from there. And then it's like you close it out. Fuck. Weird reading. Really weird reading. It's like selfishness, but not unhealthy selfishness. It's allowing yourself to experience things in ways that you may have not allowed yourself to experience things before. Give me one more for the Page of Pentacles here with the Emperor. So the things that you've had emotional confusion about in regard to these types of energies, whether they be sexual or not with people, the things that you're not certain about as far as like, well, if I get into a relation, or if I have sex with somebody, then it leads to a relationship or this and that. Like, no, you can have a sexual relationship just on its own. You can also have a friendship relationship. You know, you can, there's so many different variations of relationships and connections with people, you know. And I feel here, it's almost as if Sagittarius, like you're trying to try them out, like a kid in a candy store in a certain way, like you're trying to try out certain like shades of yourself, you know. This is about letting it go. This is about kind of giving no fucks and just allowing the journey to happen. You know, you may not know which direction you're going in, but you're trying it, you know. And it leads to a lot of goodness in your life and your experience. A lot of people don't value, a lot of people don't value the depth that sexual expression can give to us in our lives. They don't often value, like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this shit. Like, getting your brains fucked out by somebody that is a stranger, essentially, a healthy, happy stranger that's willing to do it and enjoyable. But like, they don't, you know, oftentimes when we have that happen, we feel bad about it. We feel shamed about it. Oh, I'm just easy. You know, it's like, well, did you enjoy yourself or not? Like, you were there, right? Or you wanted to be there. I feel here it's almost like giving no fucks. Like, I'm going to try these things. I'm going to check it out. And if it's not about sex, it's about direction, change, you know, desire things. When I'm connecting to this sexual energy, I want you to understand that sexual energy also has a very huge connection to desire, manifestation. How do we get that urgent energy out, you know? And I feel this is about trying everything. It's about trying everything with the idea that when I find what I like, I will stick to it. But until then, I'm ready to dabble, and that's okay. Whew. Show me this Ace of Wands. So you have the King of Pentacles. So some of you may end up getting into a connection with a King of Pentacles. It's a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy. You have Capricorn here as well. This is somebody who would be considered stable. There's somebody who would be considered well off or wealthy, somebody who's in a business sector. But somebody who's also caring, you know. And the thing about the King of Pentacles, it's interesting with them and sex, because sometimes the earth signs, not to say all of them, but a lot of the earth signs will, they want stability. They want direction, commitment, and stability, especially Taurus energies. I know some Tauruses can be all of them. I mean, whatever. I'm not going to make generalizations as much as I can, but a lot of earth signs really like stable. They like stability. They like, you know, connectedness. They like to know that, like, you know, I don't know, you fluff their pillow every morning, or you put the in the middle of the pillow, or whatever the fuck it is. It's like something that is very familiar, very comfortable, very easy, very ongoing. And I feel here with this Ace of Wands, there may be an element to sex that might be enticing to them, but also not enough for them. Here at the bottom of the deck, you have the Four of Cups. So such a fucking weird reading. If you dabble with people, regardless of the sign or not, some of them may be on board with it, some of them may not be on board with it, and that's just kind of the chance you have to take. This is such a weird and specific reading. I may do another one. I'm going to get this done just so it can be done, because I've already started. But this is literally the messages I'm getting. Give me one more for the King of Pentacles. Yeah. So you have the Emperor here with the Ace of Cups coming in. I'm seeing you as the Emperor up here. You're here too. You're giving to this with it's romantic, it's passionate. I don't know if this is what this person wants though, or if they feel like the situation just is too much burden because it doesn't provide them with what they want. But either way, you're free flowing with it, you're open with it, and you're open about your communication about it. And I kind of like that this is coming up here, this Ace of Cups for the Emperor here twice, because it feels to me like you're going about this in a healthy way. You're going about this in an explorative way. And, you know, I'm going to say it. Sex can heal you. Sexual experience and being free with yourself. I feel like this is like unburdening yourself from all of these like toxic connections and associations with how I'm supposed to be and what I can look like and don't wear that tube top, you know. It's kind of like cutting that out. Fuck, this is a weird reading. If this is not at all what you're dealing with, you simplify this. You may be coming to a earth sign person. You may be offering connection, offering a date, offering love, offering sex. Whatever it is, there's a connection here. Either way, though, the bottom cards on the deck, you know, the Four of Cups, the Ten of Wands, these are cards of, I don't want to go there. I don't want to be part of that. Like, that's not what I want to do. So I'm just going to stay over here. I'm going to remove myself and do my own thing. And also as well, I do want to say the Emperor and the King, they're close, but they're not, it's not the same energy. Like the Emperor would go well with the Empress. The King would go well with the Queen. Like there's a difference in the type of personality. There's a difference in the type of energy that that person is holding, you know, so they may not be ready for what you have going on in your life, which is fine. Because if you are on a mission to, enjoy yourself, you'll find the right people for that. Just put it out there. Show me the World here. King of Wands, you're coming up in here twice. So this is about endings. This is about cycles that you've already experienced changing. Here with that self-sabotatory card, though, I do want to say, be careful about how you're looking at your experiences. Be careful about the things that you're moving into. We have the King of Wands. He's about forward movement, action. He's about communication, getting things going. This is about changing all of that so you can experience a new you. But here he's looking into it this way. Here he's looking into it this way. It's like a full-on, you know, evaluation of how you're doing things, evaluation of what makes you happy. And I think here too, with the with the Five of Swords being so close to this and this is about judging how we experience life, where we allow ourselves to go and don't go, where we limit ourselves. I think you're kind of blowing the top off of that, or at least figuring out how you can incorporate more of what you want to experience in your life, sexual or not. Whatever this reading is about, it's about changing your perspective, your understanding, and your direction based upon desire. I feel like you're getting involved you're getting more connected within your personal desire. And that's beautiful. A lot of people are so disconnected from that, Sagittarius. And I wouldn't put it past you guys. You guys are, you know, you seek out more than just an experience. You seek out the experience, but you also seek out the multiple layers within the experience, the, you know, the minutia, the nuances, the little things, you know, and you garner a lot from that information. So nothing wrong with that. If anything, it's learning ourselves to a very, very healthy degree. Please show me the Five of Swords here for Sagittarius. Okay. I like how that is flying on the Devil. Yeah. Exactly what I just said here. So it's getting away from that between the World and the Judgment card. It's getting away from the self-sabotatory energy. Now I do want to mention, for those of you, if you are a total slut, you know, I'm just going to say it. If you're a total slut, it's about evaluating that and changing it. I feel this is very much for it could go either way, but I feel that this reading is a little bit more so geared towards people who maybe haven't allowed themselves to experience more. They've kind of kept themselves a little bit reserved for things, and I think it's now time to like blow the top off of something, sexual or not. Experiences are to be had and enjoyed. At the bottom of the deck, you have the Hermit for this 6 of Swords. You go from the 5 to the 6. It's a graduation. It's no longer being in this energy, no longer self-sabotaging your energy, your experiences, no longer holding off on things. I know a lot of people see the 5 of Swords and say, oh my God, no, you're dealing with like a, a narcissist or somebody who's not going to be, communicating with you 100%. And you very well could be. These are general readings. They're not going to fit everybody's situation. But what I'm feeling here with this 5 of Swords is oftentimes it's somebody who doesn't step up to the plate in life because they're worried about what people will think. They're suggestible, easily suggestible by, they pay attention to what people think. With this 10 of Pentacles, I feel that this is I wish the Hierophant in reverse was here because it would even be more so indicative of what I'm talking about. But it feels like I release the bonds of tradition. I release your disapproving gaze. I don't need to stick with that. It doesn't make sense here for me, and I'm moving forward. And you're looking in on it all. You're looking in on your life and figuring out how that makes sense. So let's go ahead and clarify. And here at the bottom of the deck, again, you have the Knight of Wands. This is about experiences, passionate pursuits and experiences, whether they last or not. This is not a lasting card. He comes in, he goes out. He's in for the moment. Don't make this a negative card. It does not have to be a negative card. It's somebody that looks at their life as a series of pursuits to experience more within. There's nothing wrong with that as long as communication is given. Wands are about communication. Communicate to the people that you want to be with in whatever capacity it is, sexual or not. This is the limit that I'm willing to go. And once it goes to that limit, I'm going to pull back. If I enjoy more of it, then maybe I'll get more into it. But it's all about that communication here, Sagittarius, and looking in on what makes you a better person, a more well-rounded person, somebody who can experience life on their own terms. And maybe you'll get some wisdom and information that can help somebody else out by, digging through your own stuff, experiencing your own passions and desire and direction. So let's go ahead and clarify maybe a few things. Okay. All right. Show me the Devil. So the Devil, clarifying the Devil, that is definitely an energy where we are guided by passion, guided by, sometimes it can be lower level energies. I think that this Hermit is coming forth to basically kind of be a divining rod in that. So it's kind of looking, so if you're about to approach a situation that you're ready to experience, set up a series of rules that you have to adhere to, you have to abide by, and you don't divert from that. So whatever it is, job, sexuality, exploring. This is also an energy where I'm feeling like people are exploring with their sexuality. Like maybe I'm bisexual, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm asexual and I want to try situations that have nothing to do with sex, but maybe there's romance involved with that. And it's just that type of energy. It can be so many things. It doesn't have to be just like heavy hitting carnal lust and, sweaty sheets. It can be a lot of things. But I feel here that we're getting away from some of these negative connotations, negative connections to how you view passion and desire. And I'm also feeling like some people see it and view it as a selfish experience. And I'm sorry, I keep clearing my throat. I have to. I have water, but it's not working. So... yeah, I was just about to shuffle and this came out. So the Ace of Swords, pardon me, is about clear thinking, clear communication, knowing exactly what you want to do in a situation and going for it, but also bringing absolute clarity to it for all parties involved. It can talk about cutting situations out, but I feel here that this is about clarity, honesty, and, you know, being real with what you need in your life. Give me one for the Five of Swords. Yeah, so you have the Nine of Wands here. For the Five of Swords, basically, this is about creating healthy boundaries, okay? Nine of Wands is, I keep saying Nine of Swords, it's Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands, you know, people say, oh, it's being defensive. It's, you know, not going into a situation and being tired of it, but still going through. It's all of those things. But what I feel here most so with this reading is an energy where we are needing to quell where we get in our own way, you know, where we stop ourselves because we think, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe, you know, maybe, I don't know, that's too risque. You know, I'm not used to that type of behavior. Well, you know what? Maybe you should try it. I'm not trying to suggest that you guys just become debaucherous in your lives and like devolve into these bestial beings. But what I'm feeling is that there's an expression here, especially with the Devil coming out twice, about being honesty, about passion and desire. This is not always a bad card, okay? It gets a lot of bad rap, but it's not always a bad card. It can talk about a fair amount of sexuality, needing to experience that, being hungry for it, sometimes being hungry for it, but not communicating about it because you have a toxic connection to sexuality. Sexuality is just another expression of ourselves. The church made it bad, you know? I mean, it did, you know? Yep. You have the Chariot here and the Two of Wands. It's new direction time and it's moving forward towards things in a very fast pace. And experiencing a fair amount of success along your journey. So whatever the hell this reading is about, if it resonated with you on any level, the movement is happening. There's clarity in regard to how you're going about things. It's ends up positive. You have a lot of heavy-hitting cards, but I feel more so than anything, Sagittarius, that this is a time to really get in touch with who you are on a multitude of levels. You know, like I've said 10,000 times in this reading, it doesn't have to be a sexual thing. It can be literally how we connect with our passion and our desires. It could be for painting, writing books, you know, writing children's stories. It can be where you've held yourself back, you know, and didn't allow yourself to experience something because you didn't think it would pan out. Well, who gives a fuck? If it doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. But if it does, you give yourself the option and try. You know, you gave yourself the opportunity. Oh my God, I hate this thing in my throat. And it's interesting. I do really feel here that there's like this energy where you're going into things, but you're kind of like remaining neutral, where you're not going to give yourself 100% to a situation. You're there to try it. You're there to test it out. And that's where you're going to succeed. You know, it's experiencing something on small doses, you know, and if you like it enough, then it'll become more and more and more and gradually create more. I would say if you are venturing into meeting people, some of them may not be 100% into that. And for those of you who are 100% monogamous, you may have a situation coming here where you do have the opportunity to stabilize something with somebody who feels very stable in that. And there is the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Swords. There's this connection where we can have our sexuality. We can make space and room to cultivate this situation in a place of love. And we have great communication, you know. Either way, it's all about communication. This entire reading is all about clear-cut communication and having clarity within your own motives, desires, and reasoning for why you choose to experience what you do in your life. And I would say, look at the things that you already experience that maybe you don't talk to people about. You know, what kind of porn do you watch? You know, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't watch porn. Okay. But there's a lot of people who do. Okay. So what kind of porn do you watch? What is it? You know, is it depraved? Is it debaucherous? Is it demeaning? Does it lift you up? Is it lovers, you know, or is it just like hardcore pounding? Is it bestial? And I don't mean like fucking animals, but like, is it lower level, you know? And where do you connect to that? Why is that sexually attractive to you? Do you want to try it? I'm feeling like somebody might. And that's kind of what I'm picking up. It's like you have to challenge yourself. This is about challenge and honesty within your experience. And you're here to rule that. You're here to make it happen. And if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. And I'm going to go ahead and get an oracle for this and we'll be done. Because I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing me yak on about what and how much you should be fucking right now. Show me for Sag. Lavender Argonite. I don't think I've ever pulled that one. Who knows? Lavender Argonite, environmental healing. Lavender Argonite heals your personal environment and Earth's meridian grid and raises the vibration of the planet. Become comfortable in your own body and environment. Yes, please. You incarnated to be a guardian for the planet. You are a vehicle for purifying and healing the earth, reminding others that it is sacred. Living is a sacred living being to be treated with respect. Pay attention to where you live within yourself. Do your inner housekeeping and nurture yourself. Absolutely. This is what I'm talking about. And I know it falls under a weird category, but taking care of your desire, your passions in life, sexual or not, you know, and if they are sexual, it's about exploration. It's about tapping into new ways of experiencing you. So you're a better, well-rounded person. That is your environment, and it's your inner environment as well. Okay. Become a vehicle for healing of the environment by opening yourself up to higher vibrational energies. Do not participate in anything that despoils the planet or diminishes its resources. Work with your power animal and nourish your inner being. Take no risks and avoid excesses. If your environment is unhealthy and disharmonious, it cannot support well-being. Transform it and well-being returns. So, I hope that is helpful for you guys. I can't say that it's 100% going to match with the reading, but, you know, it is what it is. And then you got, it's safe for you to love over here, just because I figure this type of reading should probably have a romance angel in it. It's safe for you to love, and I think it's also safe for you to explore, which is showing self-love as well. It's time to get selfish here, and it's time to experience things that you may not have been. It feels like you're ready for them. It's just, go do it, you know, go do it, whatever it is, sexual or not. But be mindful, be honest, be clear in the direction you want to go, and allow people the potential and option to choose for themselves if they want to be part of that. It's all about communication and what's that stuff called? Agreement. Two people agreeing. What is that? What is that word? Oh my God, this is a word that I know, and we all know it. Consent. All right. Holy fuck, Sagittarius. I may do another reading for you. Ugh. I don't know if I'll have time, but we'll see. All right. I hope this was helpful. Whomever it's for, it's for. And I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Yeah, if it was helpful, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And if you choose to donate, there's a link in the description box below. And I will talk to you later. All right. Bye-bye.